been my absolute pleasure to serve as chair of this council for the last 4 years. And I will miss the role. I will miss keeping you in order for these meetings. But I won't disappear because I'll still be a councillor like the rest of you, and I'll still put my oar in where it's needed. So there are a few people I would really like. I'd like to sort of mention a couple of events that have happened during my tenure as chair. I've been very often take part in the North Devon Hospices, Children's Hospice celebration, where we were invited along to see some improvements that have been made that were opened by Queen Camilla. I was also very honoured to be invited to British Wood in South Molton to see what they do there, which is absolutely fascinating. If you ever have the opportunity to go and have a look at what they do, take it. It's really interesting. There we were very lucky to be introduced to Princess Anne, who is extremely knowledgeable about the wool trade and is a fantastically knowledgeable lady. I've also been to various civic services, the opening of the Lammas Fair in Exeter, and an awful lot of things where I hope that I've represented North Devon to the best of my abilities. Because that's what the role of the chair is about. It is about being the representative for North Devon throughout other authorities. And I was also I was delighted that we could also represent North Devon at the Day concert in Longley. So there are a few people I'd like to thank as well. I would like to thank my consort, Councillor Kerr. Those of you who don't know, my husband is not the world's most social flower. To him, the idea of going to a lot of these events would be absolutely horrifying. Joy has been my companion and my, I won't say carer because it's a bit more than that, but she's looked after me, and no, I really appreciate everything that you've done for me.
Well done, Joy.
It's been an absolute privilege as well for the past 2 years to work with David as vice chair, I'd just like to say a big thank you to David as well for being a very supportive vice chair. I would also like to thank Glenn, who isn't here tonight, who has kept me going in the right direction most of the time for most of the 2 years that I've been chair. But I would also like to thank Chloe, who has recently come on board and is now taking over the role that Lynn used to do, and is doing it extremely well already. She was very instrumental in doing the chair's quiz with me. She's a young farmer, which makes her excellent at the role that she has taken on. So I've just got. The last person that I would like to thank is not just for the work that she does in my role as chair. I would like to thank her for everything that she does to support all of us as councillors, and that is Bev. I won't keep everybody any longer, but how's everything, David? Can I just
say something, Chair? Thank you. I've got to respond to what you've just said. I think I can speak for all of us. I think you've done a superb job and represented this council in an incredible manner. You've kept us all in control, but also as chair, you've gone as the ambassador to so many events, and I've had the greatest pleasure. We've had like an adventure on a lot of occasions, and the only thing I won't miss is pinning that flaming chain on. So, but thank you for asking me to come along. And as I said, I think you've done an absolute superb job. So well done, Councillor Walker.
Yeah, Chair. Kind of said it now. Thank you very, very much. On behalf of all the councillors here, and indeed on behalf of the officers, I think as well, and the whole council, you've done a fantastic job in your role as chair. I think the role as chair is twofold, isn't it? First of all, there's the ceremonial aspect of being the public face of the council, going out, which perhaps some of us don't see and appreciate as much of the work that you do. And the second one is, which we see you all the time when there's a full council meeting, and that's perhaps the more difficult one because you have to keep us all in order, and that has been difficult. I've had its moments of and perhaps I'm as guilty as anybody else of talking at the wrong times, and things get heated. But you've controlled it very well. You've used the gravel to real purpose, and that's not a mean thing to do, not an easy thing to do, I should say. And so well done on that, and well done on the whole where you presented yourself as chair of the council. I think I can rightly say that we're all proud of you, and thank you for everything that you've done. So thank you. You realise that you're accomplished sitter at the back there who designed the quiz, and I would like to just point out that the 1978 best-selling album was not Michael Jackson, it was Fleetwood Mac Rumours. I've been meaning to say that.
Thank you very much. And now my last duty as role of chair is to seek nominations for the election of the chair. So I would like to the council to nominate. So Councillor Clayton.
Yeah, and formally would like to nominate Councillor David Worden. And there's nobody else, I'll say a couple of words as well.
I have a seconder. Councillor sorry. Thank you. Clayton. Is there any more nominations for chair? No, thank you. Councillor Clayton.
Great, thank you. Yeah, formally putting forward Councillor David Worden. Back in 1974, I was a small lad in a small village, small town called Shaw, which you won't have heard of. It's famous only for Bobby Ball, who lived just up the road from me, Rock on Tommy, and also the fact that in the 19th century, the more millionaires lived in Shaw and Crompton, which is part of Oldham, than anywhere else in the world, because it was full of mills, which I'm sure you've all seen. Why am I saying all that? Am I going to do well? Yes, but in 1974, I don't know how old many of you were, but David Worden was on the council of North Devon District Council formulation. He's been there that long, so I thought it would be a fitting tribute, seeing that we are unfortunately going to be ending North Devon Council next year. Officially, probably go on for another 12 months. But Councillor Worden was on right at the start in 1974. So I think it's a fitting tribute to see he's going to be chair over the next 12 months. Possibly over the next 24 months. We don't know for certain yet, but we'll find out more in July. So yes, I hope you'll accept it. Of course, David, I'm sure you're doing a great job.
Should I just second it? I've known David since the early 70s. I remember when he first came to Barnstable. And the one thing I'm always grateful for is I got elected with David in 1979 for the Fortress and Trinity Ward. But David did all the work because I was the election agent actually in Hereford in the 79, so the same day as the general election. The only thing I can say is I came back because they had the town council elections a month later, and I managed to get top of the poll that one, so I was quite pleased about that one. But David, I tried to persuade David to come back again when he was so involved in his teaching work and other work within the community so involved, unsuccessfully for years, because otherwise he would probably hold the record for the longest serving councillor anywhere in the world if he carried on right the way through. But he's a gentleman, he's a man of his word, and he really shows what a councillor should be, and he is. Chair, great pleasure in seconding.
If I could move to your vote, please. So all those in favour? Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you very much.
Hit it inside and
It's like a crane.
it's hideous, I tell you.
I need to read something out to you. I, David John Warden, having been elected to the office of Chair of North Devon Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. And so I now have to sign this. And John needs to sign it because it was declaration was made in front of him. Right, thank you. Well, I'd like to say a few words as well. A lot of what I was going to say has already been said by several other people. But first of all, I'd like to say a big thank you for the honour members have given me in electing me to be chair to follow in Councillor Walker's footsteps. I will do my best in keeping you all focused on the agenda items. I warn you about that. But I would particularly like to thank our previous chair for all her hard work and for how she has represented the council throughout her time as in office. She hardly called on me as vice chair because she was always available and she commanded a great deal of respect wherever she went. You have seen and heard already tonight of the money that she raised for the RNLI. An excellent effort, and she is to be applauded for all that she has done while she's been chair. Thank you very much, and I'm going to use your Christian name and say Helen. But little did I think, Councillor Malcolm Prowse, in 1974, when I was first elected to the newly formed North Devon Council with yourself, that's over 50 years later, I would be still here, now the chair of the council. But one thing I will immediately apologise for is that occasionally I forget a surname of a person because I've been so used to calling you all by your Christian names. And so there's also one or two members that I don't know quite as well yet. So please excuse me if once in a while I hesitate when asking you to speak to get your name absolutely right. Hopefully it won't happen very often. But what I passionately believe is that we should work together for the benefit of our residents and continue all the good work that this council does in promoting North Devon and carrying out our responsibility. And finally, I would remind members not to chat among yourselves when a member is speaking to the council. You have the rules and regulations for debate, and it's important that we abide by them. So once again, thank you so much for this honour, and let's continue to work together for the betterment of North Devon. Thank you. I'll stay here. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna wear the chain now. Oh gosh. Yeah. Thank you. Calamity.
This can come a little late for me.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So then, we're on to, yes, I've got the gavel now, so look out. The next item is item 2, the election of vice chair of the council. So have we got some nominations, please? Yes, Councillor Weaver.
Thank you, Chair. Although unfortunately he can't be here tonight, I'd like to nominate Councillor Julie Hunt as Vice Chair of the Council. I think that between the two of you, you make a formidable team representing the council in the wider community in the last couple of years of our existence.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Councillor Clayton.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay. Any other nominations? Councillor Jones?
That's my head.
Thank you. Okay, in that case, then can we have a vote, please? All those in favour of Councillor Julie Hunt as Vice Chair? All those against? Any abstentions?
Oh, I know what you've done.
Oh, is she? Oh, brilliant. Oh, right. Does she want to say a few words then? No, does she?
You said
no. You said no, does she? Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, Julie, we didn't want to you.
Member, just to confirm, obviously, as you saw with the new elected leader, obviously he took the declaration this evening. Obviously, Councillor Hunt is online, but she won't take the declaration online. That will be done subsequent to tonight's meeting. It has to be done within 2 months of the election. So as long as that takes place within 2 months of tonight, then Councillor Hunt will come in and take that declaration in front of either myself or Chief Executive. So just to confirm the procedural rules for this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we move on then to item number 3, which is apologies for absence. So have we got any apologies, please, Bev?
Yes, Chair, received apologies from councillors Bell, Hunt, Wilson, Davies and Whitehead.
Thank you.
Chair. Sorry.
Yeah.
My fault. Can I add?
Councillor Crabb.
I add Councillor Turton to the list, who I believe is attending the Ilford Hume annual meeting this evening.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Got that? Yeah. Excellent. So we move on to item 4, declarations of interest. Over to you, Bev, again.
I've received none, Chair.
Okay, thank you. And so we go on to item 5, which is to agree the agenda part A and part B. So there's no part B, so we go straight into part A. And the first item is the appointment of the leader of the council for the next financial year. Have we got a nomination, please? You're right, please.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Clayton for leader of the council, and if nobody else has anything to say, I'd like to say a few words as well.
Is there a second then, please? Yes, Councillor Caroline Lever. Right now, if you'd like to say.
So obviously I haven't been a councillor for very long, and I just think that Councillor Clayton has been such a great support for all of us councillors, and I think he really is putting the council's best foot forward when it comes to LGR, when it comes to all these uncertainties that we're undergoing, and I just would like everyone to support my nomination if possible.
Is there any other nomination? In that case, can we put it to the vote, please? All those in favour of Councillor Clayton?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone against? Any abstentions? Okay. One abstention, okay. Right. Councillor Clayton, congratulations. I don't know whether you wanted to say anything.
Thank you, Councillor. No, thank you. Can say thank you to Councillor Russell for those kind words. I won't bore everybody. It's a privilege, as I said right now, my first to come this post to be leader of North Devon Council. I know people thought, what on earth is he being leader of council? But he's not even from North Devon. Yeah, sympathise with that view. I hope I've proved a few people wrong, and I'll try and do my best for North Devon as time progresses over the next 12 months. Thank you very much for everybody's support, officers and councillors, in particular, Councillor Pete Rivers, my deputy, who ends up doing quite a lot of the work that I probably should be doing. So thanks, and thank you.
So we move on to item 7, which is the appointment of the deputy leader of the council for 2026-27. Have we got a nomination, please? Councillor Helen Walker.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Peter Lever, please.
Have we got a seconder? Councillor David Clayton. Any other nominations? Okay, in that case, can we have a vote on Councillor Peter Lever being the deputy? Hands up those in favour. Those against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Congratulations to you, Councillor Peter Lever.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks very much for putting your trust in David and I again. I know that between us we have our differences. David and I have our differences sometimes on things, but this is a really important time for the people of North Devon moving forward into a new governance. And I hope that we're going to be able to serve the people of North Devon as well over the next year as I hope that we have done already. Thank you.
We move on to item 8, the appointment of committees. We've got various parts to this. You're going to.
Oh, so let me check that's okay.
Yeah,
So,
please.
members, item 8, in your committee pages, there was an original report on your agenda pages. You have an updated item 8 report within your modern gov system. If you go back to your main agenda item at the front page, you can then see item 8 updated report. You'll also see 2 further appendices, item 8 B to D and item 8 E and F. I'll be referring to those documents as I run through this report. So first of all, item 8, which is the updated report, that's set out in front of you. And first of all, it's just to talk you through the first couple of tables because that references something called politically balanced seat allocations. That's set down in legislation. And tables 1 and 1A set out the political balance allocation, and that is set out on pages 9, 10, 11.
Forgive me, we have so many different documents. Can we just make sure we're all looking at the correct documents?
So if we go to,
They all look the same.
if you go right to the very beginning as you go into full council, annual council, sorry, go right back to the beginning of Lockville, or you go, first of all, go into the main agenda. So come out of that one,
Close everything.
close everything down, and go right to the menu at the beginning where you get the choice of
Yeah.
the agenda. And it's got 3 items underneath where it says agenda. One that says item 8, updated report.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about that one first.
Okay.
I'm then going to refer to the 2 items beneath it as well, but I'll let you know when I come on to those. So has everybody got item 8 updated reports? Fantastic. So,
Just Chair, I think I might have made a boom because I think I've made the wrong name nomination. I'm sure it's me and not you guys. For governance committee, I need to amend the name of Maddox Bushell. Otherwise, Simon Maddox never think.
when I come on to okay, just to reference that, so obviously I'll come back to Councillor Pratt when I come on to table 3. So once we've talked about the table numbers first, then we'll come on to the group nominations for each committee, and we'll pick that up under table 3, that amendment that's come forward. Okay, so Chair, set out in your paper, first of all, I'm going to refer to table 1. It's on page 10 of this report. That just sets out the politically balanced committees. But this takes out obviously the total number of councillors that are allocated to each committee and the political balance across the main party. You can see that on page 10. That totals 87 councillors across the various committees. And the political balance sets out that there's 50 for the Liberal Democrats, 21 for the North Devon Independents, and 15 for the Conservatives, with 1 non-aligned party. The table over the page on table 1A sets out a couple of adjustments, and that's because applying those principles as far as possible, the Liberal Democrat group indicated it was not, we would wish to fill all of the seats on 2 of the committees. So on the Harbour Board and the Planning Committee, Full council recommended to reallocate one of the Liberal Democrat seats on the planning committee to the independent group and one to the Conservative group, and one seat on the Harbour Board to the North Devon Independent group. That's been agreed between the group leaders, and that's set out then in your table 1A. So everything we're going to talk about from now on references table 1A, which is over the page on page 11. So you can see there the same total number of councillors at 87. There are 47 seats across the various committees for the Liberal Democrats now, 23 for the Independents, 16 for the Conservatives, and there was one vacancy, which was the non-aligned seat on Building Control Joint Committee. Subsequently, since this report's been written, that vacancy has been moved into the North Devon Independents. So Councillor Prowse would then sit on the Building Control Joint Committee. That's the proposal that's set out in the following table. Table 2 at the bottom, page 11, just sets out the same political balance reallocation for the reserve list for the planning committee substitutions. That's set out at the bottom of page 11. That's just to set the context in terms of how we end up with a number of councillors on each committee and how the political balance works across each of those committee seats in front of you. So in terms of the report itself, going back to the beginning of the report, that sets out recommendation 2.1. The recommendation in 2.1 is that the council appoints the committees and joint committees, each with a total number of voting members and group allocations as shown in tables 1A and 2 for the 26-27 municipal year, with the terms of reference set out in the council's constitutions. That covers off recommendation 2.1. What I'm now going to talk about is recommendation 2.2. Now, in order to see the allocations to those committees, you'll need to come out of this report and go back to your main menu. And you'll need to go to the item 8 that says item 8B to D. Everybody with me? Why did the chief executive on holiday? Okay. So item B to D, we're now going to reference the first table you come to, which is table 3. And this covers the bulk of the report. And this is then the group nominations from the group leaders for the various committees. And this sets out those same numbered seats across those various committees and across the parties. So you can see that at the beginning of the first one, it's got Building Control Joint Committee. We have the Liberal Democrat of Councillor Lever and the North Devon Independent Councillor Prowse, and so on right the way through the committees. So I'll take that document as read, albeit obviously there's one amendment put forward by Councillor Prowse on the Governance Committee. Councillor Prowse, you just want to repeat that recommendation?
Delete Councillor Maddox in a nice way and replace it. And my apologies, Bev. I did it on a.
So members, obviously table 3, which is the group nominations committee, with the one amendment on the Governance Committee under the North Devon Independent column, replacing Councillor Maddox with Councillor Bushell. You have all the remaining committees there for Governance Committee, the Harbour Board, Licensing and Community Safety Committee, North Devon Crematorium Joint Committee, Planning Committee, Joint Planning Committee, and the Scrutiny and Policy Development Committee. Following over to the final page, the Strategy and Resources Committee, and then you have the reserve list for Planning Committee substitutions. So they are set out in table 3. And that covers off recommendation 2.2 in that report that you were referring to earlier. Recommendation 2.3 in the report then refers to the chairs and vice chairs to those committees, and that's set out on table 4, which is in that same set of papers where the committee were just a minute ago. And on table 4, which is on page 14 of this appendix, then sets out each of those committees with the proposed chair and vice chairs that again have come forward through the group leaders. The final recommendation of this section is 2.4, and that relates to table 5 over the page. And this is that council appoint to the Local Government Association for 26-27. That's set out in table 5, and you can see the name recommended to councillors in table 5, and that's on page 15. So, Chair, that's the mechanism in terms of the political balance and the allocation of seats. You'll see in the main report that we referred to just a minute ago, there were 6 recommendations. What I've just spoken about so far covers off recommendations 2.1 to 2.4. So that's the 4 recommendations that are covered under the political balance legislation. So what I've proposed, Chair, unless there are any amendments for that, that we take those 4 recommendations, 2.1 to 2.4, and CK proposed second. And I'll come on to the final 2 after that.
So who would like to propose that we accept? Right, we've got the leader of the council and Councillor Biederman, who has seconded it. Okay. All those in favour, please show. Anyone against? Any abstention? Okay, so that's part A to D dealt with. So we go on to part E.
So the final 2 pieces, Chair. So those members that want to follow on their modern gov system, if you come back to the main agenda, the main front page again, out of that item, going to item A, E, and F. E and F are then picked up on recommendations 2.5 and 2.6. 2.5, and the reason we're dealing with these 2 differently are these aren't picked up under the political balance legislation. These are picked up under different mechanism for alternative arrangements for appointing to those committees. The first one under 2.5 is the alternative arrangement appointments committee. The appointments committee deal with appointments to chief officer roles such as the chief executive, my post as the director of resources and monitoring officers, statutory officer posts, and also any other further disciplinary matters that may be brought to committee. That's dealt with by the appointments committee, and that's the group leaders. So the recommendation for 2.5 and shown in your item 8E is the appointments committee consists of the 3 group leaders, Councillor Clayton, Councillor Crabb and Councillor Prowse. That covers recommendation 2.5, Chair. And then the final one, recommendation 2.6, are the arrangements for the appointments of members to the Joint Planning Policy Committee. Again, it's not politically balanced, it's not politically aligned. And the reason behind that is to ensure that representatives on that committee are those that want to sit on the Joint Planning Policy Committee and have the experience and commitment to that role. So that's the reason we appoint the Joint Planning Policy Committee. Section 8A, which is Councillors Coombs, Crabb, Councillor David Knight, Councillor Caroline Never, Councillor Mannix, Councillor Prowse and Councillor Walker. The recommended representatives to the Joint Planning Policy Committee. Chair, that covers off then recommendations 2.5 in your report and 2.6. So again, we're now seeking a proposer and seconder for 2.5 and 2.6.
I believe this committee, Joint Plan Committee, Joint Plan and Policy Committee, there used to be, you could use a substitute on that committee.
Yeah.
Just wondered if that's covered off somewhere within the report.
Yeah.
Chair, I think the substitutes are nominated by anybody that counts 10 through the group system.
They are, yeah. So they're not named within the schedules, but obviously they can be nominated as a substitute.
Thank you, Chairman.
Good point to bring up, though. Thank you. So we need somebody to propose this, please. Councillor Rutty and Councillor Caroline Never. So all those in favour, please show. All those against? Any abstention? Okay, so that's covered. Thank you very much for that.
Members.
And so we go on to our final item on the agenda, which is league members, which is pages 15 to 22. And I do something.
Thank you, Chair. As you'll be aware, both recent LGA peer review reports I've recommended in relation to our lead member roles. The LGA governance review in February 25 suggested a review of these roles and to appoint lead members to align with priority areas. The LGA full peer review in October 25 suggested that the council should provide greater clarity, the function of our lead member roles, and that lead members should meet together with the leader and deputy leader on a regular basis. This review has now been undertaken to provide the report on the agenda this evening, and lead member meetings with the leader and deputy leader will continue on a monthly basis. There have been some name changes to better reflect the corporate areas, and there is a recommendation for a new lead member to support local government reorganisation. High-level job descriptions for each lead member role have been set out in Appendix A for your consideration, and I now pass over to the leader of the council.
Chair, thank you, Adam, for the introduction. like many things, I actually blame Councillor Crabbe for this. Because when I think it was first council meeting over at Petrol that I was leader, and Councillor Crabbe quite rightly actually stood up and said, well, I don't know who these league members are. I don't know what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know what their briefs are. And it was obvious then that there was a perhaps missing of communication to some extent. And we knew when we had the peer reviewing, before they came in, that there would be issues brought up. And we knew that league member roles would be one of them because it needed clarification. So thank you, Councillor Crabbe, for putting it in the right direction. So as a result of that, as Adam says, he has met with the lead members, not all of them as yet, but we've met with the lead members to clarify their roles and trying to create some kind of mini job description so they know fully what they're supposed to be doing and what their brief is. And we as councillors also know who's responsible for what. Sometimes they do merge over, but sometimes the names are not here as well. So we try to tidy up the names. For example, Councillor Helen Walker was lead member for commercialisation when I first formed the council. I just presumed it was something it wasn't, and there'd be somebody else for finance. Well, it turns out.
To start off with, that it was.
Did you? I remember asking you who's the lead member for finance, and you said, "Well, I think you might have been, but I'm not certain." So we've changed the names of those with Adam, and we've also introduced a new one, and of course there might well be one or two more on the way. I don't know. We shall see, won't we? But just to give you a sort of overview of those that we've got now, I think I'm all right in saying is this is going through the list I've got here. We've got financial security and commercialisation lead member will be Helen Walker. We've got housing lead member Graham Bell. Graham's not here tonight, but he has agreed to carry on. Climate and environment lead member will be Councillor Vicky Knight. Just nod if you agree with these because I'm
in agreement, sir. Thank you.
Waste and recycling lead member is Frank, and it's I think it's Julie's not shuttle on.
No, she's not.
No, but big thank you for myself and Julie for the work she did. Now, a big one is Councillor Malcolm Prowse, Regeneration, Economic Development and Planning League member. Malcolm Wilkinson's was coastal communities. But as you know, as a council, we actually said we wanted physically seen to be doing more for Ilfracombe, one of the most deprived towns, certainly in Devon, if not England as a whole. And I think we've actually done a lot of work there. Perhaps some of it hasn't gone unnoticed, some of it has gone unnoticed, and there's still certainly a lot more to do. And we thought as lead members in one of our briefings, it would be a good idea to give Ilfracombe Vicar by extending Malcolm Wilkinson's role as coastal communities to incorporate Ilfracombe as well. So that's what we've done, which will involve Councillor Wilkinson going to some Ilfracombe meetings. And then we've got a new one. We've got LPR, as you know, local government reorganisation, coming to fruition in a year's time. I'm still going to monthly chief execs and leaders meeting and other meetings into space in Exeter. And there's going to be a lot of work involved in this. Don't know exactly how much work will be involved, but if we have a lead member for local government reorganisation, it's somebody that I can rely on to do some work. So I would propose that we put forward Councillor Caroline Lever, who's kindly offered that she'd be willing to do this, as the lead member for local government reorganisation. That's how we can do this. We have to vote on them all. Some of them are new and some because of some of the chicken. I can't remember what said this on.
Yeah, so you've got three recommendations in front of you. Yeah, so obviously the first one is to agree the revised lead member roles set out in paragraph 1.3. That's the list of the lead member roles you've just gone through. Yeah. Second one is to agree the the job descriptions, the lead member roles that were set out in Appendix A, and also give delegated power to the senior solicitor monitoring officer to update the constitution in line with those lead member roles. And then the third recommendation is to reaffirm the existing appointments to lead member roles, and seek nominations as appropriate, and to appoint a lead member role for local government reorganisation subject to recommendation 2.1. So obviously you proposed your names, it's then whether you're seeking, if there are any other nominations to come forward.
I will propose the recommendation 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3.
Somebody second that, please. Councillor Ratty, it's very quick tonight.
Okay.
Are there any other nominations sorry, not nominations, any other amendments or? Okay, in that case, can we vote on that? All those in favour, please show. Anyone against? One. Any abstention? Okay, thank you very much. And can I say thank you very much to everyone for attending tonight? And I declare the meeting closed.